Serious, NSFW, what's something that a friend/classmate did in high school that was seen as funny at the time, but you now realize was actually not okay?
Had a kid in my year who'd had a surgery that left a nerve bundle in his neck exposed. If pressed, it would paralyze him. From memory, it was for spina bifida, and for some ungodly reason he told everyone. Certain boys took great pleasure in going downstairs behind him and pressing it, which completely paralyzed him for a few seconds, and he'd fall like a brick. Usually onto whoever was in front of him. So dangerous. There were a fair few teeth knocked out because of this, his and other people's. It happened so much that in his third year, the school installed an elevator and you had to have a special key to use it. He got the only permanent issue key at that time. Kids are assholes.
Few messed up kids in my primary school lit a teacher's car on fire, just because she gave one of them failing grade on midterm. It wasn't one of the mean teachers, she was mostly nice to students. Cops got involved, but don't think they got punished accordingly. I know one of them was in and out of juvie already, and were all around 13 to 14 years old, one was even in Nazi shit. I know later on those kids got all tangled in dealing in robberies, probably all went to jail at some point.
Our religion teacher went into the cupboard for supplies. She was quite strict and not liked, but now I'm an adult, I realize it doesn't excuse what happened next. The class clown snuck up and locked her in the cupboard. We all thought it was hilarious at the time and we all left the class. She was in there for the rest of the class until another teacher found her in there, crying an hour later. She took 2 weeks off after that.
It wasn't in high school, but we all found out in high school. A boy named Hendo, his last name is Henderson, so that was / is his nickname, was drunk and told people how his brother once sucked his dick in the bath. Well, this apparently happened. I'm not sure if he did actually confess to this or not. So everyone used to sing Hendo loves the bath, Hendo loves the bath, and it was constantly chanted at him. He was popular, so he'd get annoyed, but nothing really ever happened. Super fucked up though.
Living in the Netherlands. Classmate was showing on his phone a whole online shop he claimed to have with all kinds of drugs and weapons. We thought it was funny because we didn't take it too serious. He dropped out of school early and turned out to be a big drug dealer. Well, we could have known, I guess.
My friend faked her own kidnapping. I was all fun and games until the police started chasing her kidnapper's van.
In our school, there was a teacher who had a mole, so of course the kids decided her nickname would now be Mole. She must have felt really hurt, as she eventually had the mole removed, leaving a little dent where it used to be. Did everyone then stop calling her names? Nope. They started calling her Hole instead.
I had a Spanish teacher, Ms. G. Edit, this was in Arizona. I found her full name in a yearbook, because I had her sign mine in 2008. I'm not sure I should put her name out there, but I'm guessing she's retired now. She doesn't have a Facebook either. Pensive-faced students would lock her out of her classroom, unplug her computer, and they spread an awful rumor that she was having sex with another woman teacher in front of a classroom. She got locked out because a student came back from the restroom and said her car was hit in the parking lot. She ran out and then a kid locked her out. A few kids unlocked the door for her, but that was really sad. This teacher was so kind-hearted, soft, and an excellent Spanish teacher. It was really sad what students put the teachers through. Crying face edit, I don't believe it was racially motivated. She's white, just a little older and frazzled looking at the time.
There was one kid in a group 3 years ahead of me in a religious school. He was super volatile and it made him easy to pick on. I used to laugh at the jokes and his reaction too, although I did a couple times tell him they only do that because of his reaction. He would flip the fuck out, scream and cry. Turned out he was being raped and sodomized by the youth group leader regularly. No wonder the kid had issues. I feel so bad for him now.
This was in elementary. My dad bought a brand new bike for me, and I rode it to the park, and these older kids came up to me and asked if one of them could take it for a test drive. I said okay, and about 10 seconds in, I see the guy riding my bike being pushed off, and my bike being stolen right in front of me. The older kids helped me look for my stolen bike, but growing up I realized that they plotted this whole thing, and yeah, I basically gave my brand new bike away.
When I was in middle school, some kids spiked our family and consumer sciences teacher's chili with sleeping pills. I'm pretty sure someone told so she never ate it, but that could have ended really badly.
A kid took another kid's towel after gym class shower. He used the other kid's towel to dry his ass. Put a shit stain on the towel 3 foot long. Lots of nervous laughter because we were glad it wasn't our towel. Sick bastard.
I had this teacher whose breath was horrible. Like someone literally took a crap in her mouth. Horrible. Anyway, this one kid left a big bottle of mouthwash on her desk when she wasn't looking one day. The whole class was laughing. Then she turned around and saw it, and you could see her kind of die inside. She went on to tearfully explain to the class how she had some kind of an intestinal issue that she has been suffering with and that she realizes her breath is bad. Then she excused herself from the class for the remainder of the period. Now as a kid, I thought that was hilarious until she started to cry. And how she was able to continue teaching us monsters after that is not something I will ever understand. And if that had been my wife or mother, I would have encouraged her to quit.
I remember having what was called the man or mouse test. Basically, guys would take one of those big pink erasers and start going to work on their arms, and the one who lasted the longest was the real man. Plenty of bloody and scabbed up arms around school. I am not ashamed to say that I was a mouse because I never participated. There were plenty of other instances that ranged from questionable to outright dangerous. Bottle rockets being shot down the hallway, filling milk jugs with acetylene and lighting them up with a torch, damaging the brand new school bus with a shot put, etc. High school was basically a shit show.
Had a classmate come in every so often with a bruise or small cut on her face or arm, but she was part of the punk scene, so I chalked it up to maybe hopping into mosh pits, although I had never heard her mention going to shows. At one point during our junior year of high school, she spoke to a few people sitting close, myself included, about going through the emancipation process of separating from her parents and living with a friend. It was also around this time that I noticed the bruises weren't occurring anymore. It took me a full 5 years to figure that one out. It's been a full 18 years since the incidents, and she's doing much better.
In grade 8, a so-called friend convinced a child with Down syndrome to come up to me and grope my balls. Over the years I have come to realize just how screwed up that was.
Chewed his cold sore open and started finger painting on his desk in his own blood. High school honors psychology class, front row next to me.
Throw peanuts at the kid with a nut allergy.
A friend in my group had sex with another friend's mother, like literally. His mother was even somewhat open about it. We always gave both friends shit for it and thought it was hilarious at the time, but we were only about 16 or so.
This kid's used to smell girl's seat right after she leaves. Once he smelled something funny and asked the other guys to smell get seat. This girl was called Poop because of this guy. What a weird fetish.
A girl I rode horses with when I was in high school and she was in middle school told me that she and her mom watched porn together so they could make fun of the actors. She said this as if it was perfectly normal. She was not kidding. I thought it was weird and funny at the time, but now as an adult I am horrified. Unfortunately, the girl ended up getting pregnant as a sophomore in high school, and her mother was so proud of her and happy that she was going to be a hot, young grandmother. I'm not sure what happened to the girl after high school, so hopefully things worked out for her.
Every Friday there was school-wide Slap-Us Friday, where everyone just decided that they have free reign to run around and slap everyone's butts all day. Doesn't matter who you were probably getting your booty popped on Fridays. I was an awkward loner and people would run up and slap my butt all the time. Doubt that would fly these days.
We had a very attractive male student teacher when we were in high school, and the degree to which some of the girls were flirting with him got out of control. This guy was hot, tall, model looks and such, and what started with a bunch of girls openly gawking at him and agreeing he was sexy, escalated. I remember feeling genuinely bad for this guy. He just wanted to teach, he seemed to really want to do a good job, but he ended up getting sexually harassed like crazy. In the end, I think he got transferred within the district to a middle school or something, and I remember the principal ranting and screaming about how inappropriate some of the girls had been.
A classmate got a new cool bike. For some reason this other classmate wasn't okay with this, so he threw her new bike in the woods and smeared dog's hit all over it. He was pretty much found out for doing this the very next day. Kids just are the worst people on earth, Jesus.
So when I was in 7th grade, a classmate of mine used to tell everyone that he had sex with his younger cousin. Nobody used to believe him and thought that it was funny, but he used to say that he really did it. Now, after we graduated high school, I met him and tried to tease him about that thing in front of some other classmates. I thought everyone would laugh, but they all turned serious, and apparently he was telling the truth.
I had a well-loved teacher in high school who had some sort of intense aversion to glitter. So OFC, a bunch of the shithead seniors decided to prank him by dumping bags of glitter all around his classroom. The poor man actually dropped to the ground and started sobbing. A lot of the kids thought he was doing it to be dramatic or funny, but it was very clear, especially in retrospect, that he was having a full-blown panic attack. I hope those shithead kids learn something from that.
Harassing and mocking the teachers. One of them even got a nervous breakdown because of it and was on sick leave for half a year.
I never thought it was funny, but a lot of classmates did. There was this one kid that would make fun of a weird girl for both of her parents dying in a car accident. Lots of people laughed, and I still think about it 16 years later.
Had a classmate that used to steal this one kid's clothes during gym and replace it with something else. It started out with stupid t-shirt but grew to girls' clothes like dresses and panties. Eventually, it was bad, and he'd leave him like a really short skirt, sometimes a diaper, and baby stuff. Everyone thought it was funny, but it was really terrible. I think one of the more messed up things was the teachers were almost in on it. Like they wouldn't do anything about it, just lean into it.
Dry humping each other in public was peak comedy at 15.